Hi, good morning, Randy Wallace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. If you're watching this from someplace other than the Eastern United States. Today, Think and Grow Rich. I'm still in chapter 1, but the title of this couple paragraphs, 3 feet from gold. And I think this is significant. We've all done this. And this is the opening sentence. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. Now, this is the story of a gentleman named Darby who came down with gold fever during, all the gold rushes into Colorado and everything. So he was caught up in gold fever in the gold rush days. He went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. Remember that one. He staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. He had a definite purpose. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore, gold. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up his claim, his mine, retraced his footsteps back home to Williamsburg, Maryland. I'm going to look up where that is. I live in Maryland. I don't know where Williamsburg is. Probably should. Told his relatives and a few neighbors of the strike. They got together money for the needed machinery and had it shipped. Darby went back to work on the mine. So they mined it. They got a couple ore loads of ore out of it, carloads of ore. And it was prosperous. But it didn't last. The vein died out. And it says the vein of gold ore disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on, desperately trying to pick up the vein again, to no avail. He ended up selling the machinery as junk for a few $100s. He took the train home, and here's what happened. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. This is the guy that bought the machinery. He called in a mining engineer, and they looked at the mine and did a little calculating. And the engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with fault lines. In other words, how the vein goes through the mountain. His calculations showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. And when they started drilling again, they found that gold. The junk man took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. There's a couple gems in this little couple paragraphs. Importantly, don't give up because you hit a bump in the road. You got to have persistence. And when you're doing something that you don't actually have any experience in doing, I don't know. This guy was a farmer, and then he wanted to go mine for gold. Well, obviously no geological background or anything like that. He knew how to grow potatoes, I guess. I don't know whatever he was growing here. But he knew how to farm. He didn't know squat about digging up a mountain and looking for ore. you know. I did a little of that when I was a kid. I used to go around the mountains in southwest Nevada, outside of Las Vegas and up like towards Goldfield. My grandfather was a hard rock driller, an oil driller. He drilled for oil. So he knew a little of geology. He wasn't trained in it, didn't have an education in it. He had it from hard knocks, how to drill. But we used to go out and wander around the desert and find fool's gold, as he called it, pyrite. Long after okay, let's see. So the junk man called in, he got the experts, and they told him where to find, how to pick up the vein of gold again. So they did. And but Mr. Darby was a very honest man. He went back home. He recouped. Long afterward, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he had made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. So he came back, and then he started selling insurance. But he learned the lesson that you never quit at what you're doing. And he quoted, I'm going to read the quote here. I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance. And he became, Darby is one of the small group of fewer than 50 men who sell more than $1 million in life insurance annually. Now, this was in the 30s, you know. Remember that was big money then. So, when defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. So, we'll stop there. Next session that we're going to read or discuss will be called A 50-Cent Lesson in Persistence. And it's dealing with Mr. Darby. A little bit more about what he learned or what they learned, you know, from their experience. Okay, so have a great day. If you want to learn more about this, obviously, pick up the book, read it yourself if you want to. However, I am a facilitator for Thinking Under Results, which is really gets into depth on doing this and changing our life. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, message me. I'll reach out. We can talk. And, you know, there's no big obligation or anything. Just we can just talk as friends, whether I know you or not. Okay? So have a great day. Have fun. Hope you all had a safe holiday. And be careful. Have fun.